اهلا بيكم في فيديو جديد. انا عبد الله هشام. في القناه هنا ببقى حريص جدا في اي فيديو بنزله ان انا اطلع اشرح الطرق اللي من خلالها فعلا نقدر نعمل فلوس من خلال البيع على امازون اف بي اي. وفي فيديو النهارده انا استضفت واحد من انجح الناس في البيع على امازون اف بي اي، ومشهور جدا باستراتيجياته المختلفه اللي ساعدتنا كلنا في البيع على امازون. اتكلمنا في حاجات مهمه جدا لاي حد، سواء هو عايز يبتدي في البيع على امازون اف بي اي او لو في حد اوريدي بيبيع على امازون وعايز يعمل سكيل ويكبر البيزنس بتاعه. اول حاجه اتكلمنا فيها هي اكبر تحدي بيقابل اي حد لسه عايز يبتدي يبيع على امازون اف بي اي. تاني حاجة اتكلمنا فيها هي طرق مختلفة للبحث عن المنتجات، وازاي ان احنا نتأكد من المنتج بتاعنا من حيث المنافسة والطلب على المنتج ده على امازون. تالت حاجة استراتيجيات وطرق مختلفة عشان نعلي الرانك او ترتيب المنتج بتاعنا. رابع حاجة وهي ان احنا ناخد ترخيص من علامات تجارية مشهورة ان احنا نستخدم اسمهم في بيع منتجاتنا احنا على امازون. خامس حاجة ودي نهاية اي حد بيبيع على امازون اف بي اي، هي ازاي ان احنا نبيع البيزنس بتاعنا على امازون وامتى نبيع البيزنس بتاعنا. لو عجبكم فيديو النهارده ما تنسوش تعملوا لايك للفيديو وشاركوا الفيديو ده مع اي حد ممكن يستفاد بيه، وقولوا لي رايكم في التعليقات. يلا بينا. Welcome Kevin. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you.
Where are
Thanks.
you where are you based?
I'm based in Egypt. I live in Egypt.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
which part?
6th of October, Giza. I live in
In
Giza.
Okay, awesome. I've been to Egypt. It's
Wow.
beautiful place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's been about 12 years ago or so I was there.
Wow.
Tourist. I went all over. Did
Yeah,
the
yeah,
yeah, from
yeah,
the south to the north. Yeah. Typical
yeah.
tourist stuff.
You visit Luxor and Aswan?
Yeah, I went to Luxor,
Wow.
did a cruise on the Nile,
Wow.
went all the way to the south. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Egyptian. I didn't visit Luxor and Aswan before.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, yeah, yeah. In one sentence, what is the biggest challenge that new seller face when they start their Amazon journey?
It's probably money is
Yeah.
probably the
Mm.
biggest challenge is how much money do I need? People always ask that question, how much money do I need to sell on Amazon? And the question is depends on which product you sell.
Yeah.
So there's some products you need a lot of money, or you're not going to have a chance. There's other products where you can start smaller. The problem is the smaller amount of money you have, usually the more competitive it is, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that are starting with a small amount of money and they're all going after some of the same types of products. So you might find a good opportunity, but by the time you get it launched, there's a hundred other people selling the same thing because they
Yeah.
also came with a small budget. So that's a
Yeah.
challenge now. It used to be easier. So if you watch some old YouTube videos or some old things from the past, people would show you how easy it was. Just find something and using the tools like Helium 10 and then go to Alibaba and just put your name on it and buy some. But that's a problem now, because so many people are doing that. So you got to differentiate the product. And then a lot of times people will do what's called a test. They will like, oh, I'm not so sure. I don't want to spend a lot of money. What if it doesn't sell?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Let's
they
have
only
it.
buy
Yeah.
they only buy 50 of them, or they only buy a 100 or something, a small amount.
Mm.
And then when they come, they do really well and they sell really fast. They're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is great. I'm so excited. But then by the time they get more to their from their factory and back in, there's a lot more people selling. And so they
Yeah.
miss the opportunity. So it's a bit of a game, like a cat and a mouse, of a game. So that's a problem. But the rule that I always say is the amount of money you need is 2.5 times your landed cost. So
Yeah.
if you find a
Right.
product that's you're going to make let's say 100 of them. I recommend doing more than that, but let's just say for to make the math easy, 100 of them, and they cost you $10 each to have the factory make it, to have the shipping, to get it to
Yeah.
Amazon, to have all the costs, all the taxes, everything. That's called landed cost. That's going to be 10 times 100. That's $1,000. Well, you need to have in your bank account $2,500,
Yeah.
two
At
and a half
least.
times that. And the reason is you're going to have to spend a little bit of money on some advertising. If you're successful, you're going to have to place another order with the factory before Amazon pays you.
Yeah.
You're going to need some extra money. So that's the minimum. If you have more than that, that's even better. But that would be the minimum. So when if you're starting with only $2,000, then the products that you need to look at to sell need to be, you need to divide that by 2.5. So you need to find something for around $800 that you can get from the factory, including the shipping and everything to Amazon, to have a chance of success. Otherwise, the only people that are going to make money is Amazon and not you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. For me, I see that one of the most challenges people doing that they don't know how to validate their idea. They don't know how to validate the product in terms of competition. I saw one of your videos about, talking about if the product is saturated on Alibaba and a lot of Chinese companies selling this product on Alibaba, that means that there is a lot of competition on Amazon about this product.
Yeah, well, there's several things there's a whole list of things you have to look at to validate a product, but one of the big ones is how many people are based in China that are selling it. And you can see this on Helium 10. There's tools that will show you the country, or you can do it manually. If you go and if you're looking at a product on Amazon,
it appeared now in X-ray.
Yeah, it appears now in X-ray. So it's that if I see more than about 50% of the sellers, if you do an X-ray report and you're looking down the list and more than 50% of the sellers are based in China, that's a big red flag to me, because and people say, well, why? It's because the Chinese have an advantage, or several advantages. One is they speak the language, so they can negotiate usually a little bit better price. They're willing to cut corners. Sometimes it's the factory that sells it, so you're competing directly against the same factory that you're buying from, and they have an advantage. They also sometimes are willing to do some tactics that we might not be willing to do. There's some crazy, black hat things and stuff like that. So that's a big warning sign to me. If the factories are based in China, or more than half the sellers are based in China, that would be something that I would be very careful to actually do that product. And unfortunately, a lot of the cheaper products, that's where you find them. Usually the more expensive products, you don't find it as many. The product still might be made in China. That's okay, just as long as the seller is not from China. So that's a big one. Another big one is looking at reviews. How many reviews do the top 5 to 10 have? And if they all are way into the thousands, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually compete. And I also like to look at a range of sales. I like to look at say I see 10 to 20 people doing really good in sales. So if there's only 3 people doing a big numbers of sales, and after that there's a big drop off and everybody's doing much less, that means that could mean it's a brand new product and maybe it's an opportunity, but usually that means that it's going to be difficult to break into those top 3. You're going to be one of the ones that it's not making very many sales. But if a lot of them are making good sales, it's going to be, oh, well, if everybody's making $10,000 to $15,000 and I make 12, I'm going to be in the middle of this, and that's good.
That's good, yeah.
And another big problem is people when they're looking at the products, they look at the big keywords. So they're looking at the keywords and like, oh, look at this keyword has 50,000 searches, and this one has 30,000. Oh my gosh, if I could just rank for this, I could sell a crazy amount. That's true. But when you first start, you need to look at the deepness. That's called the long tail keywords, the keywords that not so many people are searching for, because usually those are the ones that are easier to rank on. And there's tools like Data Dive that sits on top of X-ray. That's a really, really good tool. It costs a little bit extra money, but it uses X-ray and Helium 10 and it makes these really nice diagrams to show you all your competitors and how good they are at Amazon, how bad they are, so you know the competition. And it'll find all these really good keywords that are low lying. I call them low lying fruit. Those are keywords that maybe there's only 500 searches a month, or only 1,000, but and all the big sellers are ignoring them. But if you come on those keywords, and if there's enough of those keywords, if there's 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 of those that you can try to rank for, then when you add all those up, maybe they don't make as many sales on each keyword as a big keyword, but when you add it all up, it can be a lot of sales. And so that's another big mistake a lot of people make, is going after the big keywords in the beginning instead of looking how many keywords, long tail keywords are there that we can try to rank for.
Yeah, for this topic, I checked as Amazon started to provide these data in search query performance. Every week, I try to check my new keywords or new data in search query performance. And one of the things that I realized lately that I saw about 10 keywords that has a query volume about 50 per week. So I took this keyword and went to Magnet in Keyword Analyzer, and I saw that Helium 10 are saying that are no searches for this keyword. But I decided to do like a test, PPC test for this keyword, and one of them or 2 of them are generating for me they have a low number of impressions, but are generating for me 3 to 5 sales per week. And cost per click is too low for this keyword, as no one or not a lot of sellers are competing for the placement or top of search placement for this keyword. So that's good because there are a lot of tools like you had said, data dive and search query performance. So that's a good, yeah.
Yeah, that's great, and that's exactly what you should be doing. And plus, don't always. Sometimes people do their research on their keywords in the beginning, and they never do it again. They make their listing and they put the keywords in there, but keywords change. There's new keywords that come. Some keywords that were good or become not so popular. I remember when I was selling 2 years ago, we were selling hand sanitizer during the COVID, and we had a small little bottle, like a 60 milligrams bottle that we were selling, and we got it ranked on the first page, and we were doing good. And then I remember doing reports about 3 months later and 4 months later, and I saw some new keywords come, and I'm like, what are these new keywords? And one was called hand sanitizer party favors. And so a party favor is something you give away to someone when they go to a party. It's like a gift. So people were going to parties or going to dinners at people's houses, and they wanted to give their guest a small little bottle. So people were searching for that keyword. That keyword did not exist when I did my first research, and the keyword was really easy to rank on. And I had cases of these things, like a big case of 24 bottles. So I just put those cases on Amazon as a full big case, unopened box, like it came from the factory. And we started, and we look at the title density on Helium 10, and we see that, there's only a few people like have this in their title. So we made a variation that had that in the title, hand sanitizer party favors, directly in the title. And like, I think 1 or 2 other people might have had that. We instantly ranked to the top, and we started selling, 2 to 5 of these a day. Just so you always have to be paying attention to that kind of stuff as well. Title density, if you don't know what that is shows you how many exact phrase, how many times it appears on the top results in that exact format. So if I have the word hand sanitizer party favors, that's 4 words: hand sanitizer party favors, and they need to be in that exact order. But I could have that in my title. I could have something like, my title could be like 60 milliliter hand sanitizer, great for parties, giving away as favors or something. That all those words are in the title, so I will still index for them, which you want to do, but they're not in the exact order. So what you're looking for is they're in the exact order that someone searches for it. And what Amazon's algorithm does, if it sees that in the title, it considers that highly relevant. And so what you want to do is you want to find opportunity keywords where other people are not using them in the title in the exact order, and use those in your title, just like you just explained. And you can almost instantly rank in the top couple pages, and then just get a few sales, and you can usually go to page 1 pretty quick. Now, if a lot of people, and that's called title density. So what you said is yours was 0. That means nobody else had that in there. So the opportunity for you is you can own that instantly, like you said. But other ones, sometimes you'll see it's 40. That's way too many. It means everybody has got that in their title, and it's going to be hard for you to compete. I like to find the ones that are 6 or less. So the ones that I target are 6 or less, and those are ones that I can usually do pretty good on.
Yeah, it will be easy to rank for them. I was speaking with Tim Jordan, as I like his methods on how to find a product like Project X. And I did a case study, and I presented this case study for him about a product that I have found on Etsy. And a lot of sellers are selling this product on Etsy, but when I went to Amazon, I found that this product have about 10 super relevant keywords specifying for this product, but only one seller who is selling this product. He was doing about 150K per month as a revenue, and he is the only seller that's selling this product. When I checked the title density for the main keywords, he didn't use the exact phrase, as you said, for the keyword in his title. So it was easy for me to rank second position in 24 hours when I decided to sell this product, as I realized how to use a title density, as you said. Yeah,
there's some great tools too. Etsy is a great place to actually find product ideas. I mean, something that I use a lot. And there's a great tool. I'm gonna get you the name of it here.
I use Marmalade.
That's it. That's the name
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good tool.
Yeah.
To find opportunities and to find what's going on Etsy. Yeah, it's a great place to actually get good ideas for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And see
Yes.
what's working. And if you can, like you said, some of them you can transfer to Amazon. Other ones they may not work as well on Amazon, but it's a great place to get ideas for sure.
Yeah. Yesterday or last week, I was searching with a generic. When I start searching for a product on Etsy, I use like a brainstorming for a niche or idea. So I start using or searching by a generic keyword like room decor or home decor, and I saw in 1 minute a product that a lot of sellers selling on Etsy, but on Amazon only 3 sellers selling this product. 2 of them are not selling good because they are FBM and their listing is too bad. And one guy has about 100 review. He is making 40,000 per month. And this keyword for the product, the super relevant keyword, has about 10,000 search volume. So it's a great place, yeah, to find the product there. Yeah,
for sure. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So in terms of strategies for a product ranking, especially after Amazon updates about search find buy, uh, almost all of the sellers are using or were using search find buy. But for now, what is your tips or strategies about how to rank a product?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's much more difficult now. Some people are still doing search find buy. They just don't advertise that they're doing it. So some people are still doing that. If you have a list, like I have, one of my products is is wall calendars you hang on the wall with pictures in them. So it's a seasonal product. So people only they're going to buy for 2023 for next year. They buy them pretty much like from now until January. Most of the sales happen in November and December. That's the people are buying them for presents and gifts for the holidays. So what I always try to do is I try to rank the product before it becomes popular because it's seasonal. So I don't want to try to launch the product in November when everybody else is selling theirs. That just means I have to sell more to get to the top position on the keywords. So I start now in September when the sales are not so heavy. But I have a customer list of people who buy directly from me, who've been buying from me off my Shopify site. And so what I do is I send them an email. And I sent one yesterday. I sent a portion. I don't send the whole list, but I send a portion of them because I want some of them to buy from me because I make more profit. But I want some of them to go to Amazon to buy the product. So yesterday, I sent an email yesterday morning. So like it's about 36 hours ago now. I sent the email to a part of my list and said, hey, Amazon, my calendars the new ones are available on Amazon right now. If you're a Prime member, you can get free shipping. Just go. You don't have to pay the shipping like you have to pay on my site. Go get them. And we sold $4,000 worth yesterday of these calendars just off this one email. So what that does is it gets me launched. And then what happens is these people, they buy other calendars. So they buy my calendar, then they're there. They're like, oh, I want this other one over here of some motorcycles, or I want this other calendar of for my golf or whatever. And then because they buy those, we get in the frequently bought together. And the customers who viewed this also viewed. So that gives us extra exposure out there too. And we're getting in there right now before people are really buying a lot. Because right now, on an average day, I might sell 5 calendars. It's not much. But in November and December, we're going to sell 500 to 1,000 a day of these. So right now it's easy to rank. So that's how I do it for that product. So if you have a list, that's where you can use your list to get ranked. If you don't have a list, if you're brand new and you're like, I don't have a list, you're going to need to probably build something. And one way some people do it is they start a Facebook group or a TikTok channel or something like that to try to start to build a list. Others, they partner with other people that may have a similar product that have a list. One of the things that I'm talking about at the Sale and Scale Summit, Helium 10 Summit, is how to use NFTs. That's what I'm really big on. One of my companies right now is we're building communities of NFT holders. And those people are going to then launch products for us on Amazon. And so that's the way I'm doing it right now. Another way is like what we talked about with the title density. Find those opportunities where you're not going to get rich overnight. So many people, they get impatient. They like, I need to make money now. I need to I need to buy some food for my family, or I need to quit my job, it's a process. So maybe you have to start small, find that, like you just said, the title opportunities where the title density is 0 or less than 6, and just go there and just sell a few a day. And maybe this week you're selling 2 a day, next week you're selling 3, and 6 months from now maybe you're selling 20 a day. So it's just going to be a slow growth.
Yeah.
And you can do that. You can do it with PPC. PPC can get expensive really fast though. But you can do it with PPC. But the best is to have a community or an audience already. And if you don't have that, try to partner with someone that is. And you could do that. Yeah, if you're launching a baby product, you could go to Facebook and try to find an audience on Facebook, someone that already has it. You can buy
TikTok is working really
Instagram
well.
accounts.
Yeah.
You can, there's lots, influencers are hit and miss. Some people are like, well, I'm gonna get these big influencers on TikTok to promote my product. Sometimes that works, sometimes it's a massive failure. So you can't really count on that, but that's the way to actually, it's difficult now. It's much more difficult than the search fund buy and the rebates. And you can still do a little bit of that, but you just got to be careful.
Yeah. I have a very interesting question for what you have said about remarketing for your email list for Shopify store. So after Amazon are showing us how add to carts that are going for one of the ASINs that we are selling, how to remarket the people who have added your product in their cart but not buying your product. Sometimes on my products, I see a huge gap between add to cart and purchase. So what is your tips about how to remarket these customers?
Well, if you're on Shopify, there's plugins that will do that for you. If you're on Amazon, unfortunately, there's not much you can do. Amazon just announced yesterday at their big conference. Now they're going to allow you to actually email. If you're a brand registered and you have your brand registered, you're going to be able to email. I think there's 2 or 3 different categories, like the customers that spent the most money, the customers that bought from you more than one time, and people who bought in the last 90 days.
I didn't see
something. So right now, there's not really a way. DSP, I think, has an option. If you run DSP, I think one of the options, and which is for more advanced sellers, I think there's a filter that says that if someone's added these types of products to the cart, it will target them.
I think,
it's just remarketing there. It's not zeroed in on just your product though. So that one, unfortunately, on Amazon, I don't know. Maybe they'll add that in the future to what they just announced. That would be good.
Yeah, it would be good.
That would be good. But yeah, right now that's a difficult one. I don't know of a way to actually target those people on Amazon.
Yeah, that's good. So one of the challenges that I see most of people challenge, that how to generate reviews for your product, how to do a product insert. They thought that product insert is a magic way to generate reviews. One of my products, I have a review rate for this product around 12% without doing any violation. Just I carefully.
Did you say 200%?
No, 12.
Oh, 12. 2 or 12.
Yeah.
Okay,
without
12%.
any violation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just spent a lot of money on my brand identity, on my packaging and my product insert. I treated my customer as it's not a customer for me. He is my friend. I send him not a product, I send him a gift. So this strategy works for me for generating reviews without any violation. So what are your tips about how to generate reviews these days?
The best way to generate reviews is to sell more, because typically if you got 12%, that's really good. Typically it's about 1%.
Yeah.
So about 1% of your sales. So if you're not going to do anything, you need to sell 100 units to get 1 review on average. I mean, you might get a few more than that, but just when it averages out, you need to sell 100 to get 1. Now you can do things like with Helium 10 or with Amazon, where that you can like hit the little button and it'll remind people to leave a review. I don't find that to be very effective, and it just annoys people. So I don't do that. If you're solving a big problem, you'll get more reviews. So like in one of my products is a slow feed dog bowl. And dogs, when they eat their food, a lot of times they eat it really fast, and it gives them gas, or makes them throw up. So this bowl has lots of little like high level, it has lots of little like obstacles. So they can't just and eat it really fast.
Yeah,
They have to
yeah,
lick
yeah,
their tongue around all
yeah,
the little obstacles. So instead of eating their meal in 20 seconds, it takes them 3 or 4 minutes. So
yeah,
it slows them down. That solves a big problem. And so people are more likely to leave a good review. If they just bought a spatula to cook their eggs or
yeah,
their toast, it's not that changing. It's not really changing their life.
yeah,
So, but this one is so that's one way is to find products that actually make a huge difference, give
yeah,
great pleasure, or solve a big pain point. Another way is like what you said is with the inserts. And what I do, some people think, well, I just put an insert in a little business card, or they print something cheap, and those things don't work very good. People just throw that out with the trash. When they open their
yeah,
product, they're like, oh, what's this junk? It's junk. They
yeah,
don't even read it. It's got to stand out. So sometimes what I do is I make the insert as nice, almost as nice as the product. So I might actually go to like a promotions company. There's promotional companies out there, and they make like a little cool little box. It looks like a treasure chest, and it might be
yeah,
small and it just opens up. And and I'll have something like that, and it says "Open me, gift inside." And and people, when they get that, they're taking
yeah,
their spatula out of the box, and they're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Whoa, what the heck is this?" It's not
yeah,
just a piece of paper.
mm,
This cost me, a piece of paper cost me a few penny, maybe
yeah,
5 cents. This cost me 50 cents.
yeah,
But I just build it into the price, and then they get that, and they stop, and they, oh, don't throw that away. What is that? And they open it. Oh, wow, this is cool. And maybe inside is a pen or something, with a company name on it, or some sort of little gift, or some sort of like, if it was a electronics product, it was like a free cord. So it would say inside, it would say you bought I don't know, like a little charging station or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
And I would put an extra cord. Like, here's an extra travel cord. Our gift to you. It
yeah,
wasn't mentioned in the listing. It wasn't mentioned anywhere. So I'm surprising them. So
yeah,
if you surprise them, they will oftentimes like, oh, that was really cool. That was really thoughtful. They're more likely to leave a review. Another thing I do is I just don't, on the insert, I don't just say go to our website to get a warranty. One of my other products is a dog treat that I sell. And so what I do is I say, when they go to the website off the insert, I say, we want to give your dog some free treats. We'll send you a sample package for free
yeah,
of our treats. And so it's a sample of our other products. And they go to the website and they fill in their information, the buyer, Kevin King, 123 Main Street, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah. And then I say, what's your dog's name? And they say, oh, my dog's name is Rover. And what's your dog's birthday? And they say, oh, April 11th, 2018.
yeah,
Like, great, thank you. What kind of dog is it? Oh, he's a dachshund.
mm,
And so then I keep that information. And then next year, in late March, because his birthday is April, I have a software that does this.
yeah,
I will send out a postcard in the mail, or something in the mail, physically in the mail, not an email, but physically in the mail, because I have their address, and it will say, "Happy birthday, Rover! Congratulations on your 5th birthday," something like that.
yeah,
Give this coupon, give this little coupon to your mom or your dad, and they will get you a special treat for your birthday. And that coupon is maybe 10% off or 20% off one of my other products. So they go back to Amazon. But people like that kind of thing. It gets them engaged, gets them buying. So you have to think about this more than just, I'm just going to sell a product and make some money and get rich. You got to think about building a company and a brand and
yeah,
delighting people. Those kinds of things get you reviews, and get you more reviews. So is that an overnight success? No. People are like, I need reviews now. I can't rank without the reviews. It takes time. So if you want to do it quickly, use the Vine program. You can pay some money, and in the Vine program, if you have a decent product, can get you 30 to 60 reviews. Some people, they do multiple variations of their product when they first launch it, so they can get extra reviews. I mean, there's
yeah,
ways
yeah,
to game the system. You gotta be careful with that, but there's ways people do that. But the Vine is a great way, but you got to make sure you have a really good product, because if these people will tear you up
yeah, yeah,
and write something really bad if your product sucks. So that can kill you too. And Vine is not guaranteed. Even though you say I might be willing to give away 30 products in the Vine for reviews, sometimes if your product is not something people are interested in, maybe only 5 people will take you up on the offer. It depends what you're selling. But it's worth a shot.
Yeah. The more you engage your customer, the more review rate you will have. That,
Yes.
like I said, I used to not sell a product for my customer. I sell as a gift. Okay, so that's how it works for me. Okay, let's move to an important topic. How to license a product on Amazon. How to reach brands to ask them said so you can license their name, or to license your product using their name.
Yeah, so the licensing is a good opportunity on Amazon right now. Just think about a flashlight. If you're going to sell a flashlight, there's a lot of people selling flashlights on Amazon, all kinds of brand names. But if I can sell a flashlight that says US Army on the side,
Yeah.
immediately people are like, oh, this is something the military
Mm.
must use, or that it says US Army must be really good. Well, I can't just put US Army on the side of my flashlight and sell it on Amazon, because it's a trademark. So what I can do is I can go to the US Army and I can say they have a special division, special company actually, that manages their name. And I can say, look, I would like to make flashlights that say US Army. And they're going to say, okay, tell us some more, show us some examples. What are you going to do? And then they'll say yes or no. And then I will make a flashlight that says US Army on the side, put it on Amazon. Instantly, I have credibility. Instantly, people trust it more than anybody. It's almost like getting free reviews in a way.
Yeah.
But then I have to pay them between 6 and 8% usually.
Mm.
So it costs you 6 to 8% of the gross sales as a licensing fee typically. I mean, some are 10%, some are 5%, but usually about 6 to 8%. Now, how do you find these people? There's companies that specialize in this. Like, for example, Body Glove is one that I do. We have a license to make dog products with the name Body Glove. Body Glove is a big surfing company. They make swimsuits and surfboards and things like that. And so we do their dog products, and we do like a life jacket with Body Glove. And so we pay them 7% is what we pay them. But they have a company called Marquee Brands. And Marquee Brands manages, so Body Glove doesn't manage the license. If I contacted Body Glove, my email might not ever get answered. But this company called Marquee Brands, they specialize in taking like Body Glove and Martha Stewart and Emerald Lagasse and a whole bunch of other big names, and they manage it for them. So you go to that company and you get their permission. How do you find these companies? There's something called the Licensing Expo. If you just Google Licensing Expo show, there's a big show in Las Vegas that happens once a year, and I think they do one in Asia and one in Europe too, where all these people that want to license their brands, that's where they go. There's companies like, for example, like Playboy, that doesn't even publish a magazine anymore. They don't do any of that stuff anymore, but they still make a lot of money. People making belts and hats and T-shirts that just say Playboy. Licensing can be big money for some of these brands. So the Licensing Expo, and they have a website too that has some resources on it. And you can buy a directory. There's a book that's put out every year. It says, here's all the companies and here's who to contact if you want to get the license for these companies. Now, you can't be thinking right away, I'm going to go and I'm going to get a Disney license, the next Frozen movie or the next Cinderella movie that's coming out. You got to be established. And so if you're not established as a seller, some of these people will not deal with you. They want real companies. If you're some guy working from your apartment, they might not work with you, but some of the smaller ones will. So you might have to start with a smaller license but to get your foot in the door, and then work your way up to the big ones like Disney or something like that. Another thing you have to think of when you're doing license, though, there's guarantees. So you usually have to pay some money in advance. So this is not something for someone that doesn't have much money.
Yeah.
Like in Body Glove example, we have to pay $60,000 in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So $30,000 when we sign the contract, and then $30,000 6 months later. Now that money applies to us as a royalty. So when that 7% that we have to pay, it comes against that, but they want their money up front. So what happens is every 3 months we make a report and we say, okay, we sold this much on Amazon, we sold this much here. Here's the total sales, and here's your 7% cut is whatever the number is. Let's say it's $20,000. Well, I already paid 30,000. So they say, okay, you already paid us 30, so you did 20,000. So now we have a credit for $10,000.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I sell the next quarter, maybe I sell $20,000 more worth of commission to them. Now I pay them 10,000 because I already paid 10,000. I pay 10. So you have to pay upfront money. So that's part of what you have to think about too when it comes to licensing. Is it depends on the licensee how much money they ask for up front. Some you might get lucky on one that's small and just starting and they don't ask for anything, but most of them ask for something. And then the other thing is they have to approve everything. So usually they want to see your products before you make them. Sometimes they say, no, you can't use that word. We don't like the way the insert looks. You need to change and make sure our logo looks like this. So it can be a little bit more trouble sometimes, more of a pain in the butt, but it can be worth it too, because if it gives you instant credibility.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. So I have a last question. When to exit and sell your business? This topic I didn't see, it's not covered too much, but it's so important and so interesting to know when to sell your business and how to sell your business.
Yes. So what I always all my businesses now, I didn't do this when I first started, but now all my businesses, I start with the intention to sell them.
Yeah.
Because that's really where you're going to make the most money. A lot of people say, well, why, if you're profitable, why would you sell your business? If you're making some profits, why the heck sell? It's because you can take advanced profits. You don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now. What if you get hit by a bus?
Yeah.
What if you have a heart attack? Your family's not taken care of. What if something happens? Plus there's people out there, maybe you started with a small amount of money and right now you're making profits on the paper, but you're constantly having to come to your pocket to pay the factory for the next order
Yeah.
because you keep going up. So we call it robbing Peter to pay Paul, or so on the paper you're making a profit, but you're really not putting too much in your pocket because you're constantly having to reinvest the money. So when you sell, you can accelerate that. And so it's typically when you sell a company, you need to be in business usually about 2 to 4 years. Sometimes you can sell a little bit sooner, but usually it takes about 2 to 4 years. And you always want to sell when you're on the way up, not when you're flat, not when your sales are flat, or not when they're going down. It's much harder to sell. You always want to sell when it's like if you go to the bank and you say you ask for a loan at the bank, the time to go is when you have a lot of money in the bank, not when you're desperate and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna pay my rent next week? I need to get a loan from the bank. They're going to be much less likely to give it to you. If you go to the bank and you have $100,000 sitting in the bank and say, hey, Mr. Banker, I need a $20,000 loan. Oh, no problem, Kevin. You have 100,000 in your account. I'll give you a 20,000 loan. You want to do the same thing when you sell your business. You want to be on the way up. There was a huge industry of people buying businesses. It's called aggregators. It started in about 2016. Really, a couple companies like Thrasio started in 2018.
Yeah.
2020 and 2021, it was a huge business. There's about 130 of these people that raised crazy amounts of money, like hundreds of millions of dollars and into the billions of dollars to buy Amazon businesses. And there's about 130, and they started just buying all kinds of businesses, and they're paying what's crazy multiples. A multiple means taking your profits and multiplying it by a certain amount. So if your profits are, if you do $1 million in sales and your profits on the paper are $200,000, they might have given you a multiple of 4 to 8. So that means they would pay you for the business 4 to 8 times your annual profit. So if your annual profit was 200,000, they would give you 800,000 to $1.6 million. They just write you a check or deposit money to your bank, and then you turn over the products to them, and you have instantly a lot of money. And then what a lot of people do is they take that money and they take a nice vacation, they pay some things, and then they start a new Amazon business. And this time they're starting it with good money and they know what they're doing. Other ones, they just retire. It's enough money that they can retire. So, but that business is run into some hard times because these aggregators, they were getting all these people that had these fancy degrees from Harvard and Princeton and Wall Street companies coming in that knew the finances, but they didn't know Amazon. And so they would buy all these companies and then they would mess them up. And they were having trouble hiring people that knew what they were doing, because people like me and you that know what we're doing, we don't want to go work for somebody else. We want to be our own boss and have our own freedom. So they were having trouble getting people and so they were messing stuff up. And so now that business is not nearly what it was. It still exists, But in 2020 and 21, it was just going crazy. Now, a lot of that money, that they don't have access to it anymore. They're cutting back, but still, you could still sell your company. There's a lot of people with sites like Flippa and Empire Builders, and a lot of sites where people
Yeah,
will
yeah,
buy these businesses. And why would someone buy a business? Is because they don't want to do the hard work. The hard work is getting it started and getting it going and proving
yeah,
that
yeah,
your idea is good. They rather just come in and buy it later, and maybe they have more money. So they see that you are always having to go into your pocket to buy the next inventory. But they're like, we have the money. We don't have to go into the owner's pocket. We have enough, and we could take, you're done well in the US. We're going to take it to Canada and to Europe and sell on Amazon, Australia, and wherever, which you might not be able to do because it's too much money for you to make all these inventory buys everywhere. So they'll do stuff like that. So selling your company is going to be one of the biggest paydays you get out of this. So if you're able to build one with the intention of selling it, that means when you start off, you got to make sure all your bookkeeping is good, all your accounting is good. You're taking care of everything. Your operating agreement's
yeah,
good. You're creating SOP so that if someone else comes in, you can just hand them these SOPs, that stands for standing operating procedures, and this is how you do everything. So they can basically give it to someone else. They can take it over. So there's a lot of things to think about there.
yeah,
But it could be one of the best opportunities in this business is to build something to sell it. To do that, you need to have ideally a brand, a good brand. If you haven't created a good brand and you're just selling spatulas, you don't really care about the brand, you're going to need to have a lot of reviews, and you're going to need to have a moat around you and be doing some good stuff at a good profit in order to sell that.
yeah, yeah. That's good. Kevin, I was super excited to host you in today's episode. You have shared a lot of interesting stuff. So I hope to meet you again in another episode and share new strategies.
No
Thanks.
problem. I'll be
Thanks for
happy to do that.
joining.
I'm glad to share anytime.
Thanks. Have a good day, Kevin, and thank you.